time to stop feeding the beast.
No doubt, you can't play in that system and expect it to be fair with you. I mean, that's
No, it's, and I've seen a few people saying, oh, I want to build my channel, but I don't want to get cut. And I'm just thinking, stuff that for a joke anymore. Say what you want. If they cut you, go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's the whole point is like, what's the point in censoring yourself if you want to share important information, and if you're doing it to make a buck, right away you've lost the game, because that's what the game is there to trick you about, right? And, it goes on and on and on. I guess we're going to be talking about, the attack on masculinity or manhood. Everyone. Lorenzo from the Alex. Nice talking to Cambell again. We're going to spiral our way up, I guess, through our attempts at autodidacticity.
Yes.
Self-teaching, the ways we go about doing things. I think it's all connected, really, if we're going to go back to the attack on masculinity. It's like as a, maybe I'll put this out there right now. I think one of man's initial feelings as they grow up, and especially as they get a family or they become responsible for one or two or 12 or 1,200 if they're, leading a small community or whatever, is the ability to provide happy, healthy, and, abundant, nutritious, an environment, right, for growth of whatever. It could just be you, could be you and your wife or your girlfriend, or it could be you could have 78 kids, or you can have, whatever, 72 grandkids. But I think what it comes down to is an attack on your ability to provide a safe environment, let's say, for life, perhaps, because I want to tie that back into the what you just mentioned, the monetary aspects of being messed about by a company like YouTube, which it kind of goes down to the fact, why are they there? People don't ask, I think, the deeper questions.
Yeah,
like, why is YouTube there? Why is it the way it is? Why does it suddenly have 70,000 commercials? Why is it kind of the new TV? Why has everyone been directed to put all of their energy and passions and even entertainment into one area that's easily watched by whoever set up YouTube, right? Obviously. And then, why? It's always the most important thing. So how would you like to approach our chat on masculinity and the attack therein?
The attack, yeah. I mean, clearly we're being, both, let's, just put it out there. It's not just males, it's females as well. It's basically biological sexes that are being attacked, and the family. If you're a natural born person, the rhetoric is you're the enemy. If you can be a man and a woman that can make a baby, now suddenly you're evil. You're supposed to have purple hair and skinny jeans, right? And walk around spruiking hate at people. Which of course is a big part of it, and like you sort of alluded to, is, all these companies and all this thing we have, Google and YouTube, and of course it came from television. In the end, it's all programming, and it's all there to control us and to control the narrative of what we believe. And so what they've done is they've taken away the narrative of what a real man is. And we're just going to focus on men for this. We both happen to be males. But I'd definitely like to talk to some females about it too. But basically, I would say that, it's just everything to do with being a man, standing for yourself, standing in your power, being a provider, making your own decisions, little things like having your own land and house, that you don't have to worry about some, mafia squad coming and taking away from you for this fake money stuff. Which really is a trap. That's how they sort of keep us in the system. If you go out there, it's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard. But it's really, how do I say this? The main attack is the whole viewpoint of masculinity is now being viewed as the enemy and as hate and as something we need to get rid of. And I'll look around. We can see, the young adults and children that have been produced in the last, decade or two from this kind of programming, because it's been in the universities for decades. I started noticing it back in the 90s, And I sort of didn't really, catch on to what they were doing. But now it's just so obvious looking back that, they just chip away. They just chip away, take little bits away. And as long as we agree and we fall into line with what they're trying to tell us, they go, awesome. Now we'll take a bit more away. And of course, look what's happening right now.
I mean, I think really what if people, obviously we have a different viewership than the standard audience that mainstream has, your channels, my channel, and a lot of the people that we talk to and share with. And, I guess it's information and understanding that can never be fucked with, if you pardon my language, and that, if someone goes deep enough to figure out, why we're here, what we're going to do, what we can do, the basis of even our energetic differences as men and women, not what we're told in the mainstream, not the comparisons that are given to us, like monetary comparisons is usually what they use, right? You can be equal, you can also earn money, you can be equal, you can also vote, you can be equal, you can also be in charge of a company or, whatever. And they're all like kind of surface nonsense for men and women, in my opinion. We know money is bullshit. A company or a corporation is not real. It's a dead entity. Equality of lifting a heavy weight is what it is. Who cares? The equality of making choices is also something that makes no sense, in that, whoever makes a better decision in regards to a problem that's sitting in front of you is who should have the final say. If it's about, the intelligence of keeping children safe, it might be a man. If it's the intelligence of nurturing a child through what they eat and, their clothing, it might be a woman. It could be vice versa. But, it's always when they bring things to the surface of, it's obvious equality is an interestingly strange, bastardized word that doesn't mean anything. Unless you're looking at, 2 pounds in weight or 2 kilos in weight, or you're looking at the equivalent of 4 chickens and you have another 4 chickens, sure, you can say those are an equal number of chickens. That's fine. But, when you get to the definition of things like equality of choice, equality of opportunity, equality of monetary earnings, that's all, garbage from word one. To be perfectly honest, I used to compare myself to people making more money or less money, or men that were taller, for example, or men that I thought were handsomer at the time, or faster, or better at sports. And, I was very, very sad growing up in many ways, due to the nature of that kind of a comparison system that was put on me a long time ago, before they were attacking men and women. And, you grow up and you realize, hey, a good man does this, and a good woman is like this, and a good system of growing your own abundance is this. And it really doesn't have anything to do with these comparisons that are put on our heads from a very young age, right? And then have you doubting yourself, right? And have you doubting your choices. We're not even going to get into the energetic differences between men and women, things that don't, besides the obvious physical attributes that are different, regardless of some of the shows I've been watching recently, like watching American Gods, where he goes, I was born a boy. They told me I was a boy and they were wrong. And I'm going, you're looking at that going, what? You're a boy, but you can feel when they poo in your head, though, once you start making these intelligent choices for yourself. You're not a victim to it any longer, right? Because, I heard that just this week, and I'm going, maybe I'll stop watching this show, because I like the fiction behind it, and it's nice and entertaining. But do I like when they come up to my dinner plate and drop a turd in my soup? Not really. You go to a restaurant and they give you a good soup, and then the chef comes over halfway through and like I said, throws a dead fly in it. It's kind of going to change your perspective of eating there again, right? And
this is what they do, isn't it, with this whole gaslighting that's just out of control at the moment, is because humans, men and women, we're emotional beings. We get attached to things emotionally. We want to be good, we want to help, we want to be on the side of good. We don't want to be the bad guy, so they pull us in. Oh, look, we need to be more equal, we need to accept everyone, we need to do all this, it'll be so nice. Oh, and by the way, if you don't accept the way that I'm going to live, and that I'm going to walk down the street with all my bits hanging out, well, you are evil and you're the hater. The main thing about this whole, just to touch on the whole 57 genders, let's call it that, apart from the fact that they don't exist, this is all this is an attack on nature. You think about what the agenda they're pushing is. it's like I said before, if you're a natural man and woman that can create a baby, that can create life, you're the bad guy. And what are they promoting? All these different genders in inverted brackets that can't procreate. And of course, out of that, you get this whole rhetoric then starts coming out of, oh, we don't need children. Oh, children are bad. Oh, hey, abortion. Let's abort them at 9 months old. I mean, as long as, you know, they haven't popped out, it's not murder. And this is what they're pushing. And they're pushing this agenda on young females as not as feminism, but as, you know, empowering feminism. You're so powerful now, women, that you can kill your own children. Like, that's literally what, and people believe this. And it's the same, you know, this is how they're getting into everything. They're just changing our beliefs of what a man and a woman is. So as far as a man, you know, now you've got all these restraints. You can't go out and stand in your power and speak your mind and say, that's wrong. That's not coming near my house. That's not coming into my family. It's wrong. You know, you can't say that anymore. You'll get attacked, to the point where someone came out and said super straight. Have you heard of super straight? Because of all this gender thing, and what they're trying to push is, if straight males, this is, you know, the 57 genders, they're saying if you're a straight male and you will not date a transgender, that is a dude who's cut his willy off, then you are hateful. It's your problem, Lorenzo. How dare you not be into trannies? And so someone came out and said, well, stuff that, guess what? I'm super straight. Now there's a 58th gender. I'm super straight, which means I only am interested in women that were born biological women. Now that dude put that up on Twitter. Within 4 hours, his mother was getting death threats.
Yeah, but you know, I agree. I mean, it's beyond insane, right? It's gotten to the point where they need to make new words for how crazy it is. But you know, kind of like, I guess in Britain, where they wanted to just have stay home for the men late at night, or curfews for just men. I don't know how that's come about. I hear bits and pieces. Supposedly it was in Britain and or somewhere else where some of the politicians, because some guy went out and did something or other to some lady, I don't know, that they were talking about just curfews for just men, so the women feel safe. Yeah,
because we're the enemy. Yeah.
So I mean, look, eventually you got to look, like, you're looking at a pool and you go, okay, the pool's full of crap. I figured more, I've been looking at things very differently over the last few weeks. I figured the more insane they're getting, the better it is for us.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, because eventually you look at that and you go, wow, they're crazy. You know, they're so crazy. They've gone even further off the deep end. And what are you going to do about that other than never listen to them and, you know, and make your own way in life? I mean, I can only talk for myself. It's like, it used to make me crazy, you know, what they're doing to women, the obvious bodily changes in most of the femininity. Let's leave it at that before I get attacked. You know, when I first moved to Japan 10 years ago, 98% of the people were thin. You know, now it's 50-50. Like,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Over a few years. Like, you know, I remember my wife, who's very skinny, she went to buy a shirt, medium, right? So she's putting it on and I go, looks like it's for pregnant ladies, right? You know?
Oh, yeah, right.
And then you look in the label, it says medium oversize. You go, what the hell's medium oversize? You know, it's
medium for fat people.
Yeah, like, okay, medium oversize, sure. So, you know, there's so much, like, I think it's all about consciousness, you know? There's so much that gets pooed into this area that we've been told to play in, like this one playground. You know, eventually you got to go, you know, you got to wash your hands, I think, and back away slowly. And, you know, and a lot of people are doing that, you know, a lot of people are saying, okay, you know, you guys are crazy. I'm going to go over here. You guys are crazy. I'm going to go over here. You know, girls too. I mean, intelligent women aren't being fooled by this nonsense either, I find, you know.
Yeah. The ones with natural colored hair, yeah, they're doing all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the thing. When it gets down to it, a man is someone who can make a decision and stand by it, no matter what people say, no matter how people try and sway him, no matter what crap is thrown at him, he will stand there and go, no, because this is what I believe. I've got to this point through, you know, thinking, through getting you know, all the evidence I can, all the information, and I've made a proper decision and it's mine. And why would I change my mind ever, my decision, because someone else says you're wrong? You don't know that person. I mean, they have probably spent their lives in university and in front of a TV, and that's where their information comes from. And we give these people some kind of credence, like they've got some kind of perspective or intelligence, when they're just repeaters. These are like, to me, these people, and they're like the people we see on the box, you know, the news readers. These are like, they're just repeaters, but they're like the drone army. You know, it's sort of, we get given this set of scripture. You know, this is the script, this is life, and then they indoctrinate all the frontline drones and they send them out to just repeat the message over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And of course, if you say, that message sucks, no, then the next thing is, well, you're the problem. You're hateful. You're hating us because you don't believe like we do. How about, you know, men used to say this far and no further, literally with a spear or a club or a gun in their hand. Come on. Yeah. You want to change my mind? Let's go. That's gone. And it's all this, it's all programming. It's all programming that if we, you know, stand up for ourselves, that somehow everything's going to go bad. But it doesn't. If you stand in your power, and when I say that, you've got to have good intentions. This has got to come from a good place. If you're just trying to be an egomaniac and run around, well, you know, you're going to get what you deserve. But if you stand in your power and you stand for your beliefs, and that comes from a good ethical place, nothing can defeat you. Nothing. That's where we've fallen.
I think it's not gone. I mean, I think that's the piece and the beauty of all of this. It's like, it's not gone for men like you. It's not gone for men like me. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a fellow in Canada, Chris Rock, is, you know, not exactly my cup of tea, but
the comedian or
Chris, somebody rather. He literally went through the Canadian airports and said, fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask, you know, my Charter of Rights. I'm not taking the test, my Charter of Rights. You're not quarantining me, my Charter of Rights. And he walked right out of there, right? And now, you know, and now he's helping people that are going through this. And there was a nurse that came through Toronto that did the same thing. She came back and said, and she watched him, right? Literally, he was a man. He led the way. He said, this is how it's possible. This is what's going on. This is how you get through this nonsense. And then she followed suit and she did it. You know, we have men like you that are doing what you're doing in the world and the information you're sharing. And, you know, I read a lot of the comments from our chats, you know, over the last many months that we've talked about. And I would say they're 50-50 men and women. It's hard to tell by the handles from some of them, you know, but, you know, I get the feeling as I'm responding to them that, you know, I haven't seen anybody that go on and said what you guys are sharing is garbage or too bad for you. I mean, it's mostly, thank you so much. I needed to hear this. Thank you so much. It's a great conversation. Thank you so much. Give me some more. You know, what they do and they take from this after they leave the room, I guess, is up to them as an individual. I mean, I want to put a link. The one thing I wanted, and it was a video I wanted to share with you anyways. And so I'll share it with all of our viewers here. There is a video of a fellow reading something. It's about consciousness and spirituality, let's say. Yeah. And, you know, it's an hour long. It's very interesting. So I won't get into it here. But the gist of it is this, is that spirituality has been a trick in that you take out spirituality and just replace it with integrity. Right? You replace it with your own, and that's it. You know, you're done. That's, you know, yeah. and if you have integrity, you don't need anything else. It's like, you know, it's bad to beat up a person. You know, it's bad to steal. You know, it's bad to lie. You know, your intuition or your conscience, your consciousness just tells you that, right? And the rest, you know, I deal with so many woo-woo people, or I have in the past that, you know, like you said, let's say YouTube people. It's like, I'm sharing good information, but I have to censor myself, you know, so I make my money, or I have to let this person in the door because, you know, I got rent to pay. And I've been that man over the years. And eventually you're going, well, you know, if I'd listened to myself, if I'd listened to my integrity, if I'd listened to my intuition, none of that would have happened. And I'd be further along today than I was, you know, at the time. And, you know, maybe it's just a matter of, you know, re-educating ourselves, you know, self-teaching, as they say. On like, what can you do with someone that believes there's 72 genders or 56 or whatever. I mean, what can
direct
you do?
them to the vaccine, you know, place.
You know, what can you do with someone that tells you vaccine's a good idea? I talk to so many people. There's been so many people that have joined us and come and gone and pretend to be, evolutionary, spiritual, and they even write thousands of articles or put up hundreds of videos, and then you talk to them and a little bit of a challenge on who they are, what's going on, their own ego, and they lose their minds. I'm sure you've had these kind of interactions. You must have come across some people due to the nature of what you do when you become kind of in the public, right? You do attract a whole bunch of netters, let's say. I'll keep it polite. Instead of monster parasites, which is really what I put it down to. What do you do with that? I think as a man, like you said, you've made a choice. I mean, maybe that's the new way of saying this far and no further, right? Used to be, you're coming on my land and I'm going to hit you with my whatever, or I'll shoot you. Maybe 20 years ago. Maybe now it's just a matter of this far no further for consciousness and what you share and what you share with. I don't know about yourself. I've noticed, but the more I'm conscious and the more I stand in my truth, the more the women in my life are picking up on that without me even talking about it, right? They're just
yes, women.
They're becoming everything a man wants. They're becoming more loving. They're becoming more supportive. They're becoming more, hey, thank you so much. And I didn't even know I wanted to know this, right? I didn't even know that this is something I needed to learn. I didn't even know that this was something a man could do. So, and I'm not being rude here, but I didn't even know that this was something that I needed to look at in myself. Right. I mean, kind of like you're teaching with your actions and not your words. Right. And isn't that what a man wants anyways?
And that's what a woman wants. A woman wants a man wants a woman. We both want strong, independent partners. That's what everyone wants. No one's put here to live someone else's life and to be their caretaker for their whole life. That paradigm is ridiculous. And it's so disempowering, from the old, sort of rhetoric from the 50s and 60s, the man goes out, makes some money and the woman stays home and, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's disempowering to both genders, because it's like, this is your role and that's it. That's literally the state saying here and no further. You're only a worker. You're only a cleaner. But I mean, what people want is people who are empowered and who know who they are and will stand up for that and who have courage, courage, right? Courage seems to be something, and I'm not talking running on a battlefield or jumping in a boxing ring. I'm talking just courage to even say what you believe. It's gone. It's lacking so badly. And I know a lot of that is fear of repercussions, like you were just mentioning, with making videos and things. A lot of people do that. They're like, oh, I won't go this far. I won't want to say, I'll get cut. It's all for money. But in the end, that just cheapens everything, really. And it takes you off your path, because once you have the courage to say something and then live it and stand there, things just, it's like, the world just kind of metamorphosizes around you, isn't it? Like you've literally got to take that step in courage and stand in your power and your belief and do it. Just do it. Just do it and go, I'm going to be okay. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. What's the worst that could happen? And once you do that, you'll find it's not, the step might be scary, but once you've made that step, you'll realize that there's people everywhere who want to help you. All these, opportunities and resources are suddenly in front of you, but you've got to have courage to get there.
You have to go first. You have to watch out where you're wrong. Obviously, I've been wrong so much, I've lost track even over the last week. Last week I wanted to do a whole bunch of videos. You and I were going to chat. I was going to chat with 6 or 7 people. You have to be flexible. And then I literally had to clean the docket my whole week. I said, okay, I'm canceling everything because the world was telling me that it was time for me to look at myself, where I needed to clean my own energy. Just came up, this challenge, that challenge, this problem. I don't, and I don't dig into any specifics, but I'm sure we've all had those weeks where suddenly you have to see where you've been an asshole to yourself. Let's say, no one can say anything wrong, or you've been not so kind to yourself as you've grown up. And everyone's been there. But that's what a real man does, right? You can admit where you're wrong. You can admit what's going on. You can admit what you don't know, what maybe you need to learn. And if anybody that studies money, and it's a big difference between lip service and actual actions. And I'll put myself there. I've known for a long time, money's bullshit, so to speak. It's printed in someone's basement. It's given out. It's controlled. It's only worth something because everyone says it's worth something, and it's been pushed to be worth something. And yet I've fallen in the trap of being worried about it consistently, constantly, and doing bad, stupid things to get it as well. All right.
We all do, yeah.
Yeah, but I know that about myself now, right? So, You know, I know I'll choose from integrity. I know I'll decide, you know, from the business who I'm going to let in and who I'm going to talk to and share videos with, even, you know, on my channel and your channel. And from that, what I'm really getting at is, as Cambell just said, my whole reality has shifted over the last few days because of that. You know, I've seen where I haven't been so kind or so strong or so caring or so giving, and a lot of the things that I've wanted in my life up until that I've been looking for a couple of years literally just showed up in a day or two. It's almost like the world said, oh, okay, you know, you're ready to take more responsibility, here you go. You know, you're ready to be a stronger man, here you go. You know, my energy is getting stronger as I'm getting older, you know, here you go. I mean, I think, you know, if people start to see the difference in listening to the system and getting old and slowing down and dying and trying to get a pension and save some money, and then what do you do the last 20 years? You know, you break down and you cry for your youth, or, you know, what's your real currency or value is probably your own power, energy, and strength, right? And if you're following along with what you want, your body's getting better, your energy's getting stronger, your options are growing. They don't shrink when you get older, right? It's like an old tree. What does an old tree look like? You go into a forest, you're not looking at the young, you know, sap, you're going, oh my goodness, this tree's 1,000 years old, and you're attracted to it, and you want to, you know, maybe I'm getting a bit off topic, but I think it's just a matter of if a man sees what it's really like to be a man, they're not going to fall into the trap of why you can't be a man, what you might lose, like you said, death threats, or your money, or the ladies won't like you, or you won't get that job, or you'll lose some friends, or all this other nonsense. It's worth, you know, it's not worth a ham sandwich on an old piece of bread anyways, you know, all of those things.
But that's the thing. I mean, apart from the fact that we don't have any men at all as role models, I mean, at all. And I think 2020 really showed it to me. You know, we've had all these, you know, these big, you know, heavy metal rock stars, and oh, I'm so manly, and all these, you know, these action movie stars, and, you know, wrestlers and all this stuff, and they're all scared of an invisible flu that doesn't exist. Not one of them came out. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something, God, these people are not men. They are there to program you into being not a man. I was just completely disgusted with all of them. I won't listen to those bands anymore. These guys are put up, and this is what they do. They go, this is a man. Okay, a man has to be big. He has to be covered in muscles, and he has to kill people. Like, seriously, that's what we've been given. Up until the 80s, it started changing. Oh, now, you know, now man starts to take the back role, and then slowly, it's, you know, man. Oh no, now man's just, you know, a waste of time. They hate everyone. They're the enemy. And who's come out and spoken up against that? Like, seriously, what celebrity, whatever person, you know, who's got a platform has come up? No one. The people that are doing it are the people like you and me that are making videos, you know, making whatever websites, getting information out there. And this is how we do it. They're doing it by, like you said before, doing it by example. This is how we do it. I'm going to walk you through how to speak your mind. To go and watch some of these channels. And also, like you said, the people in YouTube, you know, that are still there, that have pretty much gone, stuff it, I'm just going to keep going. And they get obviously demonetized and all this stuff. They're still the fastest growing channels on YouTube. They just are. I saw channels go from nothing to 500,000 in less than a year. And of course, they're completely demonetized, but they've gone bugger it. But as they've gone on, you know, all these, you know, their fans and subs and that say, oh, how about this? Obviously, they get supported. They look, and all these things come in so that they can actually still make a living. You know, it's, you know, if your only plan is YouTube ad revenue, then, you know, it's the belly of the beast.
Advertising on YouTube, right? You basically want to suck at the teat of the devil. Because if you look at people advertising McDonald's or charities, or getting tired of that Kinley or Winley or whatever that one about writing intelligently is. I forget what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, you can be an idiot and still see.
Yeah. Don't know what a full stop is? We'll put it in for you.
Yeah, type as fast as you want, make all your mistakes, doesn't matter. The AI will fix it for you, and you'll be all right. And you're going, and at the end of 1 year, you'll be an idiot who can't spell his own name, but that's all right. You know, as long as you pay someone to do it for you. You know, I mean, but what I've noticed actually coming back to YouTube, which is interesting, is I think this level field of, good, bad, and losing your revenue and all of these other things, like fighting the system, you say vaccines are bad or whatever, or this isn't true or that's true, and then you get demonetized because you're kind of stating an obvious truth. I find that the channels, and maybe I'll mention a few later, that are kind of attempting to teach you the system inside and out from a much deeper level, an energetic level, understanding yourself, are sneaking through, because
they're getting under the radar. Yeah,
the system's actually kind of stupid if you think about it, right? Any system, like if you look at it, any system says there's 72 genders, and just if you're born with a willy, you're not a boy. Right away you go, okay, you're crazy. Next, you don't got to fight it, you don't got to argue with it, you don't got to say, you just got to go, okay, you're retarded. Marry all the men that have cut their dicks off and have tit implants, and enjoy your life.
And this is the thing. We don't care. They can do whatever they want in their bedroom. No one cares. As long as you're not doing it on the street in front of the kids, do what you want. No one cares. But you think you can tell me what to do? And holy crap, have you got a problem? Because that's my point. That's my point. I'm a nice guy. I support everyone, love everyone, but someone tries to tell me what to do, which to me says I'm more powerful than you and I own you. That is that's not stepping over the line. That's taking a running jump over my line, and that will end. And that's my line. And everyone should have a line. That's it. I'm going to warn you. You're coming closer. I'm getting louder. You don't want to come. Then they step over, and it's just bang. There's no more. Oh, look, you really shouldn't have done that. It's like, I'm a lion, and I'm now going to rip your head off because you're an idiot. And you tried to tell me that you controlled me. I'm going to prove you don't. How's that? And this is where we need to be, guys, because these people are insane. Body dysmorphia is a mental illness. It's a mental illness. And these people are telling us how we should live. They're all mentally ill. What is going on, guys? Seriously, men and women, but men, stand up. Teach your children how to stand up through action. Show them what courage is by being courageous. Show them that there's a better way, and that you're not a slave, that you're not the system's bitch. Oh, why do you do that, Dad? Oh, well, my boss said I should. Oh, yeah, he's going to castrate me next week and I'll get a raise. Seriously. Is that how you want to live? Is that what you want to teach your children? And is that what you want to teach your grandchildren? Because seriously, where do you think this is going to be in 2 generations if this keeps happening?
Yes, seeing these tough guys with their Adidas masks walking around. There's see these big muscular guys. Yeah, I go, oh, that's great. You got a brand on your face and you're a tough guy.
I still want to meet one. Haven't yet. I so want to walk into one of those dudes. I would have a field day with them. Because these guys aren't men, guys. These guys are pathetic little rule followers. Men don't follow rules unless they are for the good of, the many. Obviously, you're not going to do the wrong thing. But if someone comes and says, you do this because I told you to and I want you to, no, that's called being a slave. A slave is not a man.
And then
I get a little bit passionate about this. Sorry.
No, it's great. This that you mentioned is I think needs to go 2 ways. Something I'm passionate about in my way is like, you also have to I think you mentioned emotions earlier on, and I think something that needs to be looked at, or I have for myself, is all I can really say, because I don't want to talk in absolutes for anyone else, is I have found inside of me there's 2 systems of navigation that I've had in my life. One is my feelings, one is my emotions. And I think the emotional body is not, I think it's artificial, right? I think that's the AI, these overreactions to whatever. I'm gonna lose my money, and you get afraid, or somebody big, I think there's emotions and there's feelings, and they're not the same. And it's not something that's really been properly taught to us as living beings on the planet. And it's even hard to talk about because it's something that's a feeling inside of you that you have to navigate for yourself. But you know, and if I'm going to get a little off topic and be a little politically incorrect, let's say, I happen to think that's why the AI that seems to be running things is trying to put ladies in places of power, because they're more emotional than men. There's no doubt about it. And like you said, a man is going to come to a choice on integrity. And I'm not saying ladies can't do this either, but ladies are generally more swayed by their emotions, and any real woman will probably tell you that.
They have to be, because they're the carers.
They and I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great, because
it's awesome.
They get too much. You know,
who wants a woman who doesn't know how to care?
Men who get too much wrapped in the rules need a lady to say, hey, you don't always follow the rules. Sometimes you've got to go with your feelings and be a little more flexible, right? And that's how you can be a good team if you're going to have a family or a community or people in charge of different aspects of said community or family. You know, it's a really interesting in that what I find is really required, you know, as an autodidactician yourself, and as what we're teaching is maybe new schooling in a way that will help people. I mean, one that can help people be men on the outside, and maybe another one that'll help you grow some balls on the inside too. It's like if you know, if you have some integrity and it's there, and then there's that little voice that says, don't listen to that. Like you said, you won't get your raise, or you won't get your, you know, whatever, you know, you won't get your country club renewed. Country club, maybe there's got to be a different sort of a foundation to stand on so that you don't run scared.
One point I do want to make is it needs to be, you know, being whatever, a man, standing in your power, whatever we want to say, it's a personal thing. And, you know, there is a bit of talk coming out about this kind of topic, but what I find is it's still really being pushed as one narrative. It's pretty much stand up men, go and have a massive steak, avoid the soy, and push some weights. Oh, that's what a man is. I'm not saying that's not a man. Sure, that can be a man, but a man can be many things. A man is someone who's strong inside. Like we just mentioned, there are big, muscly dudes with big beards walking around everywhere with face diapers on, nappies on their mouth, complying like a little slave child to the system. They're not men, okay? But you can have someone who's 5 foot tall, 40 kilos, but they won't be moved. That's a man. You know, it's got nothing to do with your size, with how much muscle you've got, with what you eat. And I understand with processed foods, there is a lot, you know, with the hormone stuff being entered into foods and that. So just eat as natural as you can. But as far as, you know, you have to eat, you know, 12 steaks a day to be a man, that's, you know, I have issues with that. If you're going to do that, make sure you kill the animal yourself. How manly is it to go into a supermarket and walk down the meat aisle and go, oh yeah, get your spear and shove it into your cling-filled steak and go, oh, look what I just caught. And I guess that's where this whole meat thing comes from. It's so linked to hunter-gatherers, which, as we know, never existed. Hello, you're being fed a lie. And it's like, oh yeah, men hunt, men eat meat. Look, if you want to do that, that's fine, but make sure it's your decision. If you're doing that because you're following someone who says this is the way to be a man, guess what? You're not being a man. A man is someone who goes, okay, yeah, I agree with that, but I'm not so on board with that. So this is my version of a man, and it doesn't take away from his version of a man, but a man cannot be a follower, is what I'm trying to say. You have to make these decisions for yourself, and don't be scared. You don't have to believe everyone. People aren't going to get offended if you say, oh, look, yeah, I agree with that, but, you know, on this point, I think this. People will not be offended. And if you think they are and you're going to comply, then you're the one with the problem, and you really need to find out who you are. Spend some time alone. Understand that you've been programmed. All this rhetoric about what life is, who you're supposed to be, blah, 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 get a job over 40 years, get a house so you can go to your job, then die. It's all crap, guys. And I think that's one of the most courageous things we can do at the moment is stand up and go, it's all crap. It's all crap. Follow me this way. You know, seriously, that's the way forward.
Look what Cambell started. You know, all your viewers said, you know, brought me here. Maybe we brought a whole bunch of you here. It was his Tartarian Studies that attracted me in the first place. Why did I like that? Because it gave an alternative history that wasn't the stupid one that gets presented. You know, is it 100% right about Tartarian? Who knows? You know, I've been watching another one today about the Peruvians and their red hair and, you know, coming out of Persia and going to South America, and then the original people in New Zealand. And so you're just watching all of this, and you're studying the languages, or at least I've been. And you're seeing the differences in what's been passed down to us, and you're going to go, wow, there's so many interesting theories out there that aren't, you know, we were electric piles of mud and then we got electrocuted and then, you know, suddenly we're apes and now here we are, right? Which another link I want to put for all you viewers, which I found fascinating. I don't know if Cambell's read this, but it was a book I read maybe 30 years ago called The Descent of Woman, which is the aquatic ape theory of people.
Oh, I've read a bit about it.
Yeah. He just put out a video that kind of interviewed the lady that originally wrote it. She's very old right now, in her 90s. And I'm gonna put a link down here afterwards. Fascinating stuff. When basically, if you look at three things, and I'll be very quick, is, you know, we don't have body hair like all the apes.
Yeah.
If you cut this open, they say we have fat underneath our skin. Yeah. None of the apes have that. And our brains are built on omega-6s, 3s and 6s, which is basically seafood. So if you look at it, so all of that.
And our eyes as well, isn't it? Something to do with
our eyes. Like we don't have, our noses are aerodynamic, and we have horrible senses of smell, right? Which goes all the way back to aquatic animals, right? Like the seal, you can open, it's got fat, they're more aerodynamic, they can't smell, they've got big brains, and they eat lots of seafood. And it's supposedly one of our nearest relatives that it's similar to that are the elephants. And you could see by their nose, they're very different because they're also one of the only land mammals that have a lot of fat underneath their skin. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's true or it's not true. To me, I'm going, isn't that interesting? Maybe we were dolphins a long time ago. Maybe we came from the sea. Maybe we were genetically modified. People want to talk about that, or changed by the aliens. And it wasn't with monkeys. It was with dolphins. You know, whether it's true or not, no one's really going to know. But I think what you really end up doing is you end up seeing that whatever's being taught is bullshit. So if you look at it from the historical perspective down to what's possible as a man, we'll take it all the way back. Obviously, you're probably being lied to. You can pretty much guess. You can guess that. I mean, I knew that when I was 8. I was going, my parents don't seem like they're telling me the truth. TV's lying, and I don't believe any of this nonsense. So you start questioning things, and, you know, you don't have to listen to Cambell. You don't have to listen to me. Find out for yourself. If you're not happy, figure it out. You know, maybe it's because you're not being a man, if you're a man.
Definitely. You know, we're not telling you to believe us. We've just said, don't believe us, pretty much. Make your own decision, you know, and this is what it's all about. You know, if we can, you know, just say something that'll make you think, and maybe make you go and do some research, and that'll, you know, lead you on to other things. That's really all this is about. It's a personal journey, guys. And I can't remember, you said something before and I was going to say, but one of my favorite sayings is, people are what they do, not what they say. And of course, you've just got to look at politics, right, to prove that one. And this is what we're seeing at the moment. All these people are running around, I'm this, I stand for this, I stand for this. Rah. But is that what they're actually doing with their actions? No, it's not. And just as a, you know, a quick point on that, look at all these people that walk into shops without a mask, and what happens? People with masks who are scared of this deadly flu jump on top of them and assault them. So they get as close to the person as they can that they think is breathing death. So they don't believe it. It's insanity, guys. These people are insane. Like, seriously, they're insane. And the thing about, I can't remember what my point was going to be, but I was just going to say, when you make a decision, you need to stand by it. And I guess you really need to question yourself. Will you stand by it? Because if you won't, it's not a real decision. It's not a real ethical decision that you've come to. And that's obviously one of the defining points. But when you've made that decision, if you've made it, that means you're prepared to stand there on your own against a crowd of 20 or 100. And they're all going, no, come and join us, come and join us. And of course, this is, you know, humans are community-based creatures, and this is what they play off. But a real man will just go, no, you guys are a bunch of idiots. I don't care. It's like that saying, you know, the truth is the truth, even if you're in the minority of one, right? So it doesn't matter if everyone calls you crazy. It doesn't make you wrong. And this is one of the things. We need to be able to stand up. Yep. I used to do it all the time. I used to always have, you know, because I mean, I obviously think differently to most people. I always have. And when I was growing up in my 20s, it'd always be me having an argument with 10 people, you know, like they'd all be the group against me, and I'd always win because you always will, because those people don't believe anything. They're all just sitting there waiting. Oh, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? What should I? They don't even stand for what they think they stand for. And that's why when you stand for something, you always win, because people who don't stand for something, they will fall for anything.
And it's fun. You know, I have to say,
it is fun.
It is fun. I mean, when I go shopping here in Japan, even just yesterday, you know, I'll go into a mall and they're packed on the weekends, and 99.9% of the people are wearing masks. And that, it used to make me crazy, right? But now I'm not, right? And for the most part, I don't. And, you know, it gives me that feeling, like Cambell said, it's like, you know, you're right. You know, you need to breathe. You know, there's no such thing as this crazy virus. You're not going to hurt people other than whatever they believe, I guess, is going on behind their eyes. And it gives you a kind of strength. You know, walking, you know, and I don't want to say I'm right, they're wrong. I used to do that. Oh my goodness, they're so stupid. Why don't they take the masks off their babies? I mean, I went through that for months, getting angry and all this before I realized, you know, they're free to be as stupid as they want to be. Let's say, as long as they don't bother me too much. I mean, I get dirty looks. Maybe I'm lucky in Japan. Nobody jumps me when I go in that mask. Nobody bothers you. You know, I've had the odd dirty look. In 1 year, I've had one person kind of talk to me about it. That's it. Nothing. Right? And I guess that's just the society. But because of who I am, I made my life so that I'm living in this kind of an environment, right? I wasn't born in Japan. I didn't get helicoptered into Japan. You know, my life kind of led me along the ways as I'm looking back from, you know, when I left school to, you know, when I did what I did to get to this point in my life, you know, through my art and through my creativity. I mean, I met my wife doing my art books and things like that, which is what I mean. So by following my integrity and my intuition and my feelings, you know, I ended up in this kind of life. You know, Cam is in Perth, which I've heard is very beautiful. My wife mentioned she would like to visit.
Oh, yeah,
she said, yeah. She goes, oh my goodness, he lives in Perth. We should go one day. And I'm going, that would be nice. You know, I know somebody there. So, you know, how did Cambell end up in his life the way he is doing his? He chose it. You know, he did whatever actions were required, and he's had his challenges with his work and his body, as have I, monetary, physical, you know, who knows what else, emotional. I'm sure we've all had them. But your life just seems to, you know, going way back to the beginning of our conversation, as Cambell said, when you make that choice, things around you will just change. Could be your physical location. It could be your job. It could be your marital status. I don't know. It could be anything, really. And you got to be okay with that as a man, because if you stand for something, like you said, it's not going to change no matter what 3 million people say or everyone on the planet. And, you know, if you want to go back also to what Cambell said about nature, you know, stop looking at men and start looking at all the other animals. There's 2 sexes, pretty much. You know, I guess some are androgynous. Sure, that's just the way they are. And you know, there's not 72 sexes of dogs running around suddenly, or 72 sexes of pigs or cattle running around, or 72 genders, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. You know, it's obvious. It's an insanity. You know,
it's an attack on life. This is attacking people that can create life. That's what this is, a full-out attack on life and on the strong male and the strong female. And when I say strong, all that really is someone who's standing in their power. You know, like this is, we all should be there. This is how we should be naturally. You know, without the system and all the crap, we would all be like that. So it comes back to this, just you know, not buying into it. Like Lorenzo said, you don't get worried. See, if we go around telling people they can't wear a mask, well, then why can't they tell you that you have to wear a mask? If you're into this game of I can tell you, well, then they can tell you what to do. I mean, get over yourself. If you stand in your power, what does it matter what other people do? Let them go and breathe their own bloody snot in all day. Who cares? It's their decision, and they will, you know, live the consequences for that, just as you will live the consequences for what you do. And this all comes back to health and, you know, with the mask and that, but it really comes back to just, you know, who do you want to be? Like, seriously, who do you want to be? And look back in history at the people who stood up, and it may not have gone that well in the end, but I mean, was it worth them doing it? I mean, I don't know. One name that comes to mind is Jesus. Pretty ethical guy, stood up till the end. You know, he could have bowed down and said, I don't want to die. No, bugger this. And, you know, we wouldn't have all these stories. You know, this is the thing. And I'm not saying that, you know, go and kill yourself or anything, but you've really got to have that attitude. You know, it's you don't change me. No, I'm immovable. If it comes to that, well, you know, it comes to that. But I guess that's also, what do you believe in life? What do you believe you are? Because if you believe this system, and like Lorenzo said, you're this, you know, patch of mud that got hit by electricity and turned into a frog that had sex with a raccoon and suddenly there was a human, then you've been told a lie, because you're not that. And as long as you believe that, you're going to be scared for your life. Everything's now. This is all you've got. So you need to, you know, steal from people and you need to get as much as you can, as much physical stuff, because the one who dies with the most wins, right? Don't know how that works. But this is the paradigm. I mean, sit down and think about it. I mean, when someone dies, the body's still there. The brain's still there. What left? It's not your body that dies, guys. But that's getting off track. But this is the thing.
I think it's important what you're saying, you know.
Oh, good.
I mean, everyone dies. I mean, the thing is, being afraid of death is silly. It's like being afraid of life, because everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
How you live, that's important, and what you do with your energy. And there are so many historical perspectives on even that doesn't really happen, and what's going on, and being in the matrix and the illusion and all of this stuff that, you know, just even if you imagine it and you believe in science that we supposedly only see 7% of light and people use 10% of their brain. So what's going on? You know, that's 92% we're missing, even by, you know, the stupid standards, let's say. Aren't you curious? You know, like I have been. Aren't you interested in, like, what's going on with that other 92% of light? What am I missing? What's going on with that 90% of my brain that I'm not using? Shouldn't that be where you should be exploring, instead of fighting people about their genders or money, or arguing with your boss about a $2 a minute raise, or wondering if your pants are tight enough to attract, you know, a date next Saturday, and, you know, if they're going to run out of your favorite beer at the local mart? Or, I mean, what the hell are you worried about when there's so much consciousness and amazing beauty that can be explored? You know, look at the Tartarians. Look what used to have. Look, you know, there's so many channels out there about all the stuff that, you know, we devolved as a species. You know, we're not getting any better. You know, all of the things we've missed. I mean, come on. Look at what's waiting for to create and to be and to make and to live as men. You know, lead your woman there. And who knows what, you know, and I've heard women can do many things besides make babies. They can help make dreams. You know, so isn't that interesting? You know, like, do some studies, do some Toltec studies, do some Mayan studies, do some Incan studies, do some ancient Tartarian studies, do some whatever other esoteric, energetic pathways, old Chinese studies, you know, the yin yang, or do some Qigong, and, you know, look at all these things that have been hidden and buried and would give you the opportunity to bring back, you know, some amazing stuff in this life. And it's not like Cambell said, you know, eating 8 steaks and beating your chest and walking around with a big gun as a man. I mean, maybe a man is someone that leads the way back to an intelligent, beautiful, artistic, creative, abundant way to be alive. I mean, to me, kind of man I would like to be anyways. You know?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can be the warrior but that's what you're going to be naturally. If that's what you are, that's what you are. You might be, you know, a diplomat. You might be someone who can bring people together and get bigger things done. You might be someone who can run communities because you're so ethically based that you're always thinking about the best for everyone. These are all men. So this is the thing. A man's not, you know, this little one. And this is what they love to tell us, isn't it? You know, they love this whole thing of, oh, a man is just this. A woman is just this. Apart from when it comes to other 37 genders, apparently they can blend. But this whole story of this is life, you know, all these intellectuals we get, these dudes, and they sit there and they've got their heads up their butts going, oh, look at me, I'm so smart, I've got 17 letters behind my name. You ask these people to think anything that they haven't been taught by a book, they can't do it. They will attack you. They will start yelling at you, abusing you, and you'll see who they really are if you start asking them things like, oh, well, do you think that there's more outside our vision? They'll go, oh, that's fucking stupid. And then you go, well, we know the light spectrum is this big, and we can only see from ultraviolet to infrared. So there's clearly a lot more light out there that we can't see. So we have all these things about ghosts and spirits that people see. That's crap. So you're not taking on any information or being scientific at all. You're just running off basically what other people have told you to believe. Yes. That's what all these people do. They're repeaters. They won't think. They won't think. And when you ask them to, they will get offended and they will attack you because they are so programmed into I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, because they've built themselves into this facade. Oh, I'm a professor of whatever. So you must listen to me. It doesn't, and it's got nothing to do with the information. It's just got to do with, this is me. So shut up and listen. I must be right because I went to university. And these are what are put up in front of us as men. Like seriously, these are the people that we get. All these politicians and these spineless little actors and, you know, philosophy people and all these people with their stupid rhetoric telling you what to do. A real man won't tell you what to do, ever, because a real man's not into control. A real man doesn't need to control anyone but himself. This is the whole thing. So all these people, you know, if you've got boys and you happen to be a single mum, smash your TV. Don't turn it off. Blow the thing up. Seriously, that's the most harmful thing. And the next most harmful is the processed food. Get them onto, you know, fresh food, because they are lacing food with hormones. And then, you know, see, when you get rid of the TV, you've just wiped 90% of the opinion that's been shoved into your head. You've just wiped it. You have so much more capacity to think just by getting rid of that one thing. And this is it. This is, you know, it's just so obvious now that TV, the media, all this stuff, it's just a complete control programming mechanism to make us believe that life is a certain way and it's only this big. And you can't step outside of that, or else you hate everyone and you want to kill them. So clearly insane, clearly stupid, and clearly it's time for men to stand up and be men and to lead the way by being that man. Walk the walk. Talk, you know, don't just talk the talk, walk the walk.
Walk and study who you are. You know, on our website, you know, newagora.ca, I'll give us a little plug.
Yep,
We've got a video on belief in evil. Study what belief is. Study what it does to you. Study how you got your belief. You know, study how it leads you to action and inaction. I mean, that's what a man, you want to understand the world, understand yourself first, right? You know, like we go back to Jesus, you know, who hasn't sinned, throw that first brick, right? So who isn't stupid, call someone else stupid first, right? Study how you've been stupid in relation to even missing your capabilities, you know, your strengths, what's possible for you as a person. Well, you know, why not study what you are, what you're made of, you know, what you know, they tell you you're a biological computer at the very stupid end of things, but, you know, how many people, you know, I'll put myself there, have studied what they're capable of, what they can do, how long you can live, how long people have lived in the past, you know, what you might be able to make of yourself in your life beyond the 12 points that they say is possible. You know, you can do this, and this, you know, to make money, or you're a crook, you know, or you played a lottery, right? And that's it. Sorry, that's it. And do that till you're 65, then go lie on a beach and die somewhere. You know, and you're going, you know, I used to look at that and go, well, these people don't look so happy. These people don't look so fulfilled. These people don't, even if they've got lots of money, you know, you talk to someone who's old, rich, and unhealthy, see how happy they are. You know, that sort of thing. So, you know, all I can really say is if you explore for yourself and you do it, there is the capability of accessing far greater things than you can imagine. And perhaps that is what a man is about, exploration. Who doesn't like to explore?
Exactly.
Going out further, seeing what's beyond the next hill or mountain or other land. I mean, you know, all the heroes we like in the movies and things like that, they're generally exploring. They're generally looking. They're generally going to the unknown. And, you know, this world that tells you there's nowhere new to go is bullshit, right? There's nothing but new places to go from the crop where we're sitting right now. You know, there's nothing but new ways to be alive and nothing but better ways and that you can teach your children and share with your family and what have you. And like Cambell said, you've got kids, be a fucking man already. You know, teach them that they have potential. Let them grow up to what they can do. Don't tell them their life has to be like yours, which so many parents do. You know, give them the ability to explore what they think is possible and you know, allow that to blossom.
Allow them to find who they are. Give them as many options as you can, and they will tell you what they're interested in. It's not up to us as parents to say, it's my son, so he's going to play footy because he's a man. No, that means that you're not a man, because you are so wrapped up in yourself that you can't even take yourself out of the picture when thinking about your son. That's pathetic. Grow up. One thing I will like to say just to end on is there is a little story that illustrates this quite well. And there was a dad, and he was at work or in his office at home, and he was on a phone call, and his son came in and said, Dad, can we play? Can we play? And Dad said, I'm just need to finish this phone call and then I'll be out. And another minute later, kid's back there, can we play? Can we play? And Dad says, oh, hang on a sec. And so he's got a magazine on the desk, and he opens it up, and there's a picture of the world on the front of it. So he rips it out, cuts it up into 10 pieces and says, here you go, son, this is a jigsaw. Go put that together. When you're done, come and tell me and I'll be finished my phone call. All right, Dad, no worries. Okay, kid goes off. 30 seconds later, he's next to him. Yep, done it, Dad. And Dad's like, what? How did you do that? And finishes his phone call and goes, okay, come and show me, son. How did you do that? And they go up and he sees, and this world is put together. And he goes, how did you do that so quickly? He said, oh, it's easy. You see, on the other side of the page was a picture of a man. And when I put the man together, the world just fell into place.
Ooh, it's a good story.
I like that one. And that's really it. Work on yourself, work on the man, and the world will fall into place for you.
You'll meet other men, you know, because men like being in community. I've found that they like joining together to protect. And, you know, I'm finding that in my way. And it might not look like you expect it to, but it does happen. You know, every week I'm talking to intelligent people that are doing it in their way, different places in the world. I'm meeting unique ladies as well that are doing what they need to do to be happy and healthy. And they're open to this kind of change. And it's a beautiful process. And am I wrong? I'm wrong more times than I'm right. No doubt about it. Every day I'm so wrong. It's crazy. But on the other hand, you know, when I wake up the next day realizing where I'm wrong, there's more space to be right, right? You gotta be wrong before you can be right. You gotta clean out the closet before you can put new things in. And it's like, it's nice to be wrong. It's refreshing. You're not carrying all this. Like, I think a real man will also admit when they're wrong, right? And lead by that example for everyone in their life. So
yeah, it's just another inversion. Like you said, you can't move forward or learn unless you're wrong first. I mean, what do you think, that you're born with all the knowing in the world and everything you do is going to be right? I mean, this is how we learn, right?
We are the beginning and the end of our lives, in that you're the only thing that you can have access to that you know could be incorruptible because it's you. And if you look at that for what it's worth, to me, that's the most beautiful possibility, because you don't need to ask permission. You don't need to look outside yourself. You don't need to wait. You don't need you don't need $5 more. You know, you don't need to wait for the weekend. You don't need your friend to say it's okay. You know, you don't need your girlfriend, wife, mother, father, whatever. You know, you can have 87 sexes if you like, but you don't need to wait for anybody to start to explore yourself and to figure out what's possible, because it's only you need to talk to, really, to make something beautiful of the world. And that's where I'll leave it.
Exactly. Just do it. Not like Nike, but just do it yourself. All right. So there we go. So yeah, thanks for spending some time, guys. If you've got any questions, you know, on this topic, or any, you know, sort of topics you'd like us to broach, as far as, you know, the whole masculinity, femininity, you know, the whole genderism thing that's going on at the moment, please leave some comments, because do want to get into this, you know, do some more chats. I'd like to get some roundtables going too, maybe get, you know, 4 or 6 people on and get more perspective in there, because this is the thing, guys. If they strip away who we really are, then who are we really? And thank you, Lorenzo, again for another chat. And Lorenzo will be back in a few more weeks. And if you've got any other topics as well, the more, not that we like the word spiritual, but, you know, that kind of type sort of questions, and please leave them below as well. And we can have chats on topics like that as well, because Lorenzo will be back every sort of 2 weeks or so for the foreseeable future.
Love to dive into the energetics of men and women, perhaps, you know, get away from the he said, she said, they're wrong, we're wrong, and kind of just get into the capabilities and possibilities of being who you are, and, you know, allow that to maybe inspire you, you know, or to spiral up, or to autodactize yourself, or to make your new now, as my channel is called. Very well connected, so that you can, you know, take the power back for yourself, as a real man would like to do, and make it true for yourself and your family and your community and everyone else then. Definitely. And I'll leave the links to Lorenzo's channel and to the book and video that he mentioned as well. So make sure you check them out, guys. All right. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll talk to you all on the next upload.
Bye for now. What channel am I on? Spiral up. God, what's my side off?
We're on Spiral Up.
Thanks. It's greatness, yes.
We'll put it there.
Thanks for spending some time, guys. You have greatness inside you, so look in there and find it. Bring it out, share it with the world, because we all need to see it.